There we go. So a parabola is a set of all points equidistant from a fixed point called the focus and a line called the directrix. All right, so let's say, draw myself an axis here, and I'm going to put my focus right here, and I'm going to call that the point 0, P, and then the directrix is down here, like so, and this is the line y equals negative p. So you're typically given two pieces of information, a focus, 0, P, and a directrix. Directrix in this case is a horizontal line. The parabola that we're going to talk about is going to look like this. And what has to happen, if I pick a point on this parabola, this point right here, I'll call it x, y. The definition says this distance, the distance from the focus to the point, has to be exactly the same as this distance, the distance from the line to the point. And we're going to use that information to create the equation of a parabola. How do I find the distance between this point 0, P and this point x, y? How do we find the distance between 2 points? We use the distance formula. That's correct. What's the distance formula? Oh God, no. The distance formula says subtract the x numbers, x minus 0, and then we square them, plus we subtract the y's, y minus p, and we square it, and then we square root the whole thing. Alright, so that's the distance between these 2 points. That has to be exactly the same as this distance. How would you find this distance? Well, what's this point right down here? Well, if this point is at x, then this point's also at x. And what's the y value for this point? Negative p. So that has to equal. Again, I subtract the x numbers, x minus x, and I square it, plus I subtract the y numbers, y minus negative p, that's y plus p, and I square it. And then I do the square root of the whole thing. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do some algebra here, and I'm going to simplify, and I'm going to end up with a decent little equation here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole equation, and I'm going to square both sides. What happens when I take that whole equation and I square both sides? I get rid of the square roots. So the square roots go away. Here, x minus 0 is x, and x squared is just x squared. So this is x squared. Equals, not equals, plus. What do I get when I take y minus p and I square it? Well, I take y minus p times y minus p. I do FOIL. I get y squared minus 2py plus p squared. Equals. Over here, what's x minus x? 0. 0 squared is 0. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to FOIL it out. When I FOIL that out, I get y squared plus 2py plus y plus p squared. And some very nice things happen. What are the very nice things that happen? Well, I don't think I can cancel out the 2py. I can subtract p squared on both sides, and those reduce out. I can also subtract y squared on both sides, and those cancel out. But I think I have to add this over to the other side. So I think my equation becomes x squared equals 4py. So there's the equation of a parabola that we're going to use. Different from the equations you've used in the past. Where, what's this p number again? Well, in my parabola that I drew, where's the vertex? The vertex is at the origin. So what's this p number give you? The distance from the vertex to the focus point. It's also the distance from the vertex to that line thing. What did I call that line? Directrix. So P tells you distance from vertex to focus. It's also the distance from vertex to directrix. P equals distance from focus to vertex, and P is the distance from vertex to directrix, IX. Now, what if I don't want my vertex right at the origin? What if I want to shift my vertex, I don't know, left and up somewhere? How's that going to change my equation? X squared equals 4ph if I want to shift my vertex. Translations back in Math1412. How do those translations work? What if I want to move my vertex over to here to be the point -3, 2, and have the exact same parabola? How does that change the equation? How does the -3 change things? It's not going to change the 4. Have to add 3 to the... Because we're looking at x, you're exactly right. I would need to move this to a -3. I would have to have an x plus 3 right there to move it left 3. And what would I have to do to the y to move it up 2? I would need a y plus 2 up and down, works the way you think it should, left and right. So, if I wish to move my parabola to a different spot and have it like this, my equation isn't going to change much. My equation is going to be x minus h squared equals 4p times I want it to be y minus k, but it should be y plus k. Plus. I want to pull up. Section 10.1, where is that? So left and right usually works opposite. Up and down usually works the other way. No, they've got a minus. Yeah, so we'll leave it as a minus. We'll see how that works out. Now, what do you think is going to happen if I want my parabola to go that way? Well, for my parabola to go up and down, I have to have an x squared. How's my parabola going to go left and right? It's going to have a y squared, and this 4p will move to the other side. So we would have y minus k squared equals 4p times x minus h. All right, so here's what some of your problems are going to look like. Let's say I give you x squared equals 8y. I want you to find the vertex, the focus, the directrix, and finally, when you're all done, I want you to draw a graph for me. My first question, is this parabola going to open up or down, left or right? Up. Why up? X squared. When it's x squared, that tells you it's up or down. And why do you say up? Because this is positive. When's it going to be down? When that's negative. That's right. So this is up and down because it's x squared. That's positive. It's going to go up. All right, where's the vertex? The origin. Why is the vertex at the origin? Because there's no what? There's no x minus a number here. There's no y minus a number there. The vertex is simply at the origin. 0, 0. There's 0, 0 right there. If I had something like x minus 2 squared equals 8 times y minus 3, then this would tell me shift 2 to the right and shift 3 up. No, it's 3 up. Because when we did up and down before, we had everything on the same side. So now we're putting things on opposite sides, so everything's going to go the opposite of what you might think. All right. Next, the focus is going to be up here somewhere because this parabola is opening upward. And the directrix is going to be down here somewhere. What's the p number? How far up does that go? Well, notice the equation that we ended up with here. We want, where did it go? One page too many. We want x squared equals 4py. So I really want to write this as 4 times something. I really want to have that 4 there. We always need a 4. 4 times what? 2y. So that tells me in this case the p number is what? P is 2. So to find my focus, I'm going to go straight up 2 spots. So what's that point? 0, 2. To find my directrix, it would be the line y equals -2. That's right, I would go down exactly 2 spots. Questions on that? All right, well, let's do the same thing as long as we've got this one written down. X minus 2 squared equals 8 times y minus 3. What's the vertex? Lindsay. The p number is 2. The p number is always that distance, and it's also that distance. So since p is 2, I had to go down 2 to get my directrix. If I give you x minus 2 squared equals 8 times y minus 3, where's your vertex? Vertex is at 2, 3. Shift right 2, shift up 3. All right, so now we've got 2, 3 is our vertex. 2, 3. This parabola is still opening which direction? Up, down, left, right? No, this one is still, it's up. It has the x squared, which tells you it's up or down, and then you look at this number. If this number is positive, it goes up. If this number is negative, it goes down. So it's still up. Okay, where's the focus? Now what's the p number for this parabola? P number is still 2, isn't it? Because I don't want an 8 here, I really need a 4, so I would write this as 4 times 2, y minus 3. So my p number is still 2. So I go here and I go up 2 spaces. So where would the focus be? 2, 5. And my directrix, I would start here and I would go down 2 steps. So what line is that? Y equals 1. Questions on that? All right, how about y plus 1 squared equals, I don't know, anybody have a number they like? 3? Oh, that's not a good number. 3 times, it'll work though, x minus 4. Okay, where's the vertex? Close. Not negative 1, 4. 4, negative 1. The x's still come first and the y's still come second. So it's at 4, negative 1. 4, negative 1, right about here. Left, right, up or down? Right, correct. Y right. It has y squared, which tells you left or right. And when this number is positive, it's right. If this number were negative, it would be left. Okay, now I said 3 is a bad number. But I lived with it anyway. Why is 3 a bad number? Because I really want 4 times something here. So I have to do it. So it's got to be 4 times what? Well, 4 times what will give me the 3 back? 3/4. That's correct. It's not as hard as you think. Times x minus 4. So what that tells us in this case is our p number is a fraction. And that happens quite often. The p number is not always a nice number. In this case, p is 3/4. My focus, since this is opening to the right, my focus is going to be over here to the right. So what's my focus going to be? I'm going to go from here and move 3/4 directly to the right. So what's my focus? .75 or 4 3/4, comma, negative 1. I start at 4 and I move 3/4 to the right. That's 4 3/4. My directrix is going to be, this time it's going to be a vertical line over here, and it's going to be 3/4 to the left. So what's my directrix? 3 1/4. So I go back 3/4. That's 3 1/4. And it would be, since it's a vertical line, x equals 3 1/4. Questions on that? Oh, absolutely, this will be on the final. Of course. We're not just, we're not like the Greeks. We don't just do this for fun, Absolutely, this will be on the final. Give me a point. Any point you like. 0, 0. Very good. You pick the origin. That's always very smart. So we're going to have a parabola, and its vertex is going to be at the origin 0, 0. Where's its focus going to be? 0, 2 could be a focus. 0, 2. All right. So given that information, that the vertex is 0, 0, the focus is 0, 2, I want you to give me the equation of the parabola. All right, so before you can do that, you need to answer some questions for me. Does this parabola open left, right, up, or down? Up. How do you know this parabola opens up? You had a 1 in 4 chance, I guess. Yeah, think of the picture. The vertex is here. The focus is there. So the parabola has to go around the focus like so. So this one has to go up. So does that mean I have an x squared or a y squared? It means I have an x squared. So I'm going to have x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k. All I need to do is fill in the numbers for h, k, and p. What are h and k? 0. Why are h and k 0? Because our vertex is at the origin. So h and k is 0. What's the p number? P number is not 8. The p number is 2. So we're going to end up with 4 times 2. We're going to end up with an 8 here. How did you know the p number was 2? Because that was the point 0, 2. P is that distance. So this equation is x squared equals 8y. All right, let's try that again. Let's make it harder this time. Give me a vertex. You're not allowed to use the origin or any point on the axes. So give me a point off the axes. 1, 1. Not very original, but I asked for it. I'm going to make the focus. I'm going to pick the focus to be -3, 1. What can you tell me about this parabola? Left, right, up, or down? Left. Excellent. Why left? Well, again, if you just think of a quick picture, 1, 1 is here. That's my vertex. And -3, 1 is over here. The parabola has to go around the focus. So it looks like that. So this is definitely opening left. Opening left, we have y squared or x squared? Y squared. So this is going to be y minus k squared equals 4p times x minus h. K numbers, they're both 1. So this is going to be y minus 1 squared equals 4. Leave a space. I'll fill in the p number in a minute here. X minus 1. Well, what's the p number? Not 1. How far is it from here, from 1, 1, to -3, 1? That distance is 4, except the p number this time has to be -4. Why does it have to be -4? To make it go left, it has to be a negative. So there's the equation. There's the equation of the parabola. All right.